Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to another review video going over the Gmod FNAF Bundle Pack. Yep, that's right guys, a new update for the Gmod FNAF Bundle Pack has recently come out, and we're going to be going over everything new in today's video. Now, if you guys do want to check out the Gmod FNAF Bundle Pack add-on for yourself, I highly recommend it. It will be linked in the description below. Also, if you guys do want to see more review videos going over the Gmod FNAF Bundle Pack when it gets another update, make sure to leave a like on this video. That lets me know that you guys want to see more. Also, subscribe. That way you won't miss it the next time I upload. And without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and hop straight into today's review video. So for this update of the Gmod FNAF Bundle Pack, it is mainly focused around FNAF World, but we do also have some updates to some of the other sections, mainly Five Nights at Freddy's 1. So this is where we're going to be starting off with today's video. Now, I know what you guys might already be saying, whoa, Mr. X-Man723, what the Sigma's going on here? You've already checked out the FNAF 1 ragdolls in the first episode of the Gmod FNAF Bundle Pack. Why are these guys back again, bro? Are you really that out of content? No, calm down. So basically, the FNAF 1 ragdolls have gotten a overhaul update. So now these guys have a way more body groups for us to check out. Now, again, we have seen the FNAF 1 ragdolls before in this pack, so I am going to go over these guys kind of quickly, but they all have brand new body groups, and there's also some new ragdolls thrown into the FNAF 1 section as well. So we're going to take an in-depth look into each and every single one of these Five Nights at Freddy's 1 characters. So right off the bat, we're going to be checking out Indo01 first. So this guy has been given a brand new skin. So skin 0 is the default textures of the Indo skeleton, but you can swap into skin 1 to get these beta textures of the Indo skeleton. And in comparison, it basically makes the Indo skeleton a lighter shade of gray in comparison to skin 0. Also, his teeth switch from being white to gray as well. So again, these are basically beta textures for the Indo skeleton, and we'll actually talk about these textures a little bit later on in this video. So let's go ahead and move on to the body group. So the first body group we're going to go over for the Indo skeleton is the eyebrows, the thank you eyebrows. Because if you guys remember, after Five Nights at Freddy's 4 released, Scott Cawthon uploaded an image to Scott Games saying thank you, which showed off all the animatronics from FNAF 1 to FNAF 4, except for the Phantoms, rip the Phantom animatronics. But in that poster, we could actually see Indo 1, and he was rocking these thank you eyebrows, which obviously this is like the Indo skeleton, like an animatronic suit, probably Freddy Fazbear's suit was ripped off the Indo skeleton, but Scott forgot to remove the eyebrows. So in the thank you image, the Indo skeleton has some nice, beautiful eyebrows, which has always been kind of funny to me. So if you want to give the Indo skeleton some eyebrows, you can go ahead and toggle that with the body groups. We also have some different eyes for the Indo skeleton. So by default, he has the same eyes as Freddy, which is blue, but if you want, you could actually switch his eyes to match up the other animatronics. So we have him with Bonnie's eyes, Chica's eyes, Foxy's eyes, the beta Indo skeleton eyes, and solid dark eyes. We can also remove the eyes as well. So if you wanted to actually make this Indo skeleton look like one of the other animatronics Indo skeletons, you can customize the eyes. We also have some other body groups that will actually add some more customizations to this Indo skeleton. So let's go ahead and go over all the different props. So you can give this guy the microphone that Freddy and Golden Freddy hold. You can give him the cupcake that Chica holds. You can give him Bonnie's guitar, both the original and the new version of the guitar. And you can also go ahead and give him Foxy's hook. So you can match this guy up with any of the FNAF 1 animatronics to make it look like, hey, it's their Indo skeleton that has been stripped from the animatronic suit. So this is basically what Foxy's Indo skeleton would look like as a example. Anyways, we can toggle off the eyelids, which that is funny. We can give him the eye glow effect. So if we really wanted him to look like a Golden Freddy Indo skeleton, or just a possessed Indo skeleton in general, we can give him the eye glow effect. And let's see here, we can also give him the bow tie. We can give him Freddy's bow tie and also Bonnie's bow tie. As you guys know, with the animatronics, they have these beautiful arm rings that like to stick out of their arms right here, and we can actually go ahead and give this to the Indo skeleton. So by default, the Indo skeleton doesn't have the arm rings toggled on, but we can go ahead and give him these arm rings right here. Basically, these are like support rings connecting the Indo skeleton to the animatronic suit, but there's also an alternate version of the rings where it's actually rings fixed, where we can actually see that these are proper rings instead of them being in a disc shape where they are completely filled up. And that's everything to the Indo skeleton. So we're now going to move on to the one and only Freddy Fazbear. And actually, very quickly, with the 4 main Five Nights at Freddy's animatronics, just like the Indo skeleton, how you can switch his texture to that beta Indo skeleton, you can do the same thing with these animatronics by switching them from skin 0 to skin 1 to give them that new beta Indo skeleton texture. That was a weird thing to say. New beta? There's a new beta for Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's beta win! Okay, anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. So anyways, with Freddy Fazbear, most of the new body groups that have been added to the FNAF 1 animatronics are actually suit toggles, so you can actually remove individual parts of the suit. Like you can remove one of Freddy's ears, you can go ahead and remove his torso to reveal his endoskeleton. So those are the main new features to the body grooves, but we do have some other things to show off. Again, these guys do have the ring toggles as well. By default, they will have the rings turned on, but if you wanted to, you can actually switch it to the rings fixed version, and this will actually make it so the rings fit inside of the arms instead of them no clipping outside of the arms. So by default, you can see the rings will clip out of the arms, but you can have it as rings fixed, or you can actually see the rings inside of the animatronic suit arm if you look very closely, or you can go ahead and just remove the rings entirely. We have some different versions of Freddy's jaw now. So by default, Freddy's jaw will match his textures, but you can actually switch his jaw to have a black jaw. So this means the inner mouth of Freddy will be black instead of it being the same texture as normal. We also have the jump scare jaw, which only the center part of his jaw is black, while the rest is the regular brown texture. And if we actually take a little look at the Ultimate Customized section, we can see that there's actually a preset of Freddy in this section where he actually has the black jaw effect, because apparently in Ultimate Custom Night, Freddy will actually have the black jaw instead of the regular jaw that he has from Five Nights at Freddy's 1. So that's a fun little fact right there. Anyways, moving along, we have the eyes. So again, you can completely empty the eyes or give them the beta endoskeleton eyes. And again, you can do this with pretty much all the characters in the FNAF 1 section, is switch their eyes to the beta eyes. We also have a brand new mask for Freddy Fazbear. So we have his default mask from FNAF 1, but we can actually go ahead and toggle on his new mask, which is the Funko mask. And the main difference with the Funko mask is that Freddy Fazbear has top teeth. That is so cursed. Freddy, why do you have top teeth? That's not normal. So as you guys know, all the FNAF 1 animatronics only have bottom teeth except for Foxy, and basically the Funko merchandise for FNAF 1, all the characters from FNAF 1 in Funko merchandise have top teeth, which is so cursed, which you can mainly see it on the pop figures and on the Five Nights at Freddy's action figures. So again, it's still so cursed in FNAF 1 Freddy with top teeth. Obviously, the Withered Freddy and Toy Freddy have top teeth, but seeing FNAF 1 Freddy with top teeth, that just ain't normal. That ain't normal. So if you wanted this guy to be in the style of Funko, or if you want to give Freddy Fazbear some extra teeth, you can go ahead and toggle on that new version of the Freddy Fazbear mask. And also something a little cursed too is if you look inside of his mask right here, you can actually see that the top teeth are not connected to anything. They're just kind of floating there, but it makes sense so that way they can actually be in line with the bottom teeth. So that's pretty much everything new to Freddy right here. Yo, Freddy with top teeth. That he's not real. He can't hurt you, right? He's not real, right? Next up, we're moving on to Bonnie the Bunny. So the interesting thing about Bonnie here is that he actually has some extra skin. So again, just like everyone else, if you switch him to skin 1, he will have that beta endoskeleton texture to him. But if we actually switch him to skin 2, his bow tie will switch from black to red. So he now has a Freddy's bow tie instead of the regular Bonnie bow tie. And if you're wondering what skin 3 is, it's basically the black bow tie with the beta endoskeleton textures as well. So you can get this guy the black bow tie. And the reason why there's an option for Bonnie to have a black bow tie is because in the anniversary images of Five Nights at Freddy's, Bonnie actually had a black bow tie before he had a red bow tie. And there's actually a preset of this right here in the beta characters tab where you can go ahead and just spawn in Bonnie with the black bow tie without having to manually change the skin. There's also an alternate version of Bonnie here where he's actually missing his mask as a preset. And again, this is kind of like a reference to the anniversary image whenever Bonnie has his mask off, and also a reference to the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 trailer whenever Bonnie takes off his mask at the end of the trailer. So we have these two different versions of beta Bonnie in the presets. You might also notice that there is a beta Freddy, which we'll get onto him later on down the row. Anyways, moving on with Bonnie the Bunny, pretty much he has everything else similar to Freddy. So again, he has the new rings. You can go ahead and individually remove different parts of his suit, and he also has the different masks as well. So we can give him the Funko mask where he has top teeth, and obviously since Bonnie has different teeth from Freddy, this is in Bonnie style, so he has these rounded teeth instead of these square shaped teeth like Freddy has. So this is Bonnie with the top teeth, and unlike Freddy, Bonnie's teeth are actually connected to his snout. out right there. So there we go. My teeth aren't just floating there. Be quiet, Bonnie. Man, this is so cursed seeing us with top teeth. Yeah, this is pretty cursed, I'm not gonna lie. See, whenever somebody says beta FNAF 1, this is what I imagine the beta FNAF 1 animatronics would look like, just like these guys with top teeth. Next up we have is Chica the chicken, and actually, unlike Freddy and Bonnie, Chica does not have a Funko mask, which will give her the top teeth on her beak. So if something you wanted to do with her to match up with the other animatronics is you can actually give her the jump scare teeth, which basically moves the endoskeleton teeth forwards into her beak. But again, that's something that's already been in this pack before, but that's just a fun little fact right there if you wanted her to kind of match up with Freddy and Bonnie in their Funko versions. But again, there is no Funko mask for Chica in this pack. But anyways, moving along, the other main new feature Chica has, besides again all the body groups individually being toggled off, the rings and all that stuff, is Mr. Cupcake. So obviously we've seen that Chica can hold Mr. Cupcake in this pack in the past, but Mr. Cupcake has actually gotten a little update here where you can actually switch which hand Cupcake is in. So you have Cupcake whatever Chica's on the stage, and then you have Mr. Cupcake in Chica's opposite hand right here. So Chica can hold two different cupcakes in both of her hands right here, but she can only have one equipped at a time. And again, this is because throughout Five Nights at Freddy's, we've seen Chica hold Mr. Cupcake in both of her hands. So again, this is Cupcake whenever she is on the stage in Five Nights at Freddy's 1. But again, there's been other times where we've seen Chica hold Mr. Cupcake in her right hand. So that's just a fun little fact right there. And that is something new that's been added to this pack with Chica the chicken. And that's pretty much it to Chica. Again, the main new body groups is that you can individually remove parts of her suit. But other than that, that's pretty much everything I have to say about Chica. So we're moving on to Foxy. And again, speaking about the Funko masks, Foxy already has his top teeth, but this guy does actually have a Funko version. If we go ahead and select the Funko mask on Foxy, this will actually remove Foxy's golden teeth and give him regular teeth in its place. You also have to apply the same effect to the jaw, since Foxy's jaw also has golden teeth on it as well. So this is Foxy without his golden teeth. And oh, Foxy, what happened to your golden teeth? Yar, me teeth, they no longer be gold. So that is basically the Funko version of Foxy right here. Basically, his teeth are no longer gold and they are solid white. And other than that, I think that's pretty much everything new to Foxy, everything unique about Foxy right here. Again, if you want to, you can remove all the different suits parts on Foxy, and that's pretty much all I have to say about Foxy right there, is just that you can switch his golden teeth in for some regular teeth. And that's it to Foxy. We're now moving on to the golden animatronics. Yes, that's right, you heard me correctly, golden animatronics. So obviously Golden Freddy is from FNAF 1, but what if all the animatronics from FNAF 1 had golden versions? Well, there are golden versions of the animatronics in this pack. So we have Golden Freddy, Golden Bonnie, Golden Chica, and Golden Foxy. Now, these four animatronics pretty much have all the same body groups as their original FNAF 1 counterparts. However, there are a few slight differences with these golden animatronics. Obviously, right off the bat, they are all golden. And I gotta say, I love all these golden textures right here. Basically, they're all golden. Bonnie has a black bow tie here. The jaws are all black at the bottom. Over here with Foxy, he actually has some black pants on. Chica has a It's Me bib on, which instead of it saying Let's See, it's me. So I love that so much. We even have a golden cupcake here as well with Chica. So anyways, let's go over all of their unique body groups here. So with Golden Freddy right here, we can actually go ahead and if we go over to the jaw, by default he does have the black jaw effect that you can toggle on with Freddy, but if you want to, you can set it to the default jaw so that way it doesn't have that black effect at the bottom, which honestly I kind of prefer the regular jaw instead of the black jaw, but by default the black jaw will be toggled on. Also, something with all these golden animatronics is if we go over to the Indo head section, you can see that shadeless eyes are toggled. So this is basically, if you look at the around the eyes of the mask, you can see that it's solid black. But if we actually switch this to the endoskeleton head, you can see that the endoskeleton head will actually be inside the mask, and you can actually see inside the mask around the eyes. So by default, it will have the shadeless effect, which I do like that. But if you wanted Golden Freddy and these other golden animatronics to actually have their endoskeleton heads, you can toggle that on, or you can Oh my gosh, what happened to this guy? Okay, so that's a bug. That is a bug with the pack. Do not select the empty. What happens, bro? Whenever you select empty on the golden Freddy right here, what is this? I've never seen a ragdoll do this. That's kind of funny, but that is completely broken. So if you select the empty Indo head, it basically shuffles all of this guy's body groups right here. So do not currently for now, do not select the empty head. I'm sure this will get fixed soon. That is a hilarious bug right there. Yeah, that is a that's a bug. We need a new golden Freddy. Let me spawn in a new golden Freddy. So do not remove the golden Freddy head, but I believe if you actually do it with these other guys, select empty on the endoskeleton head, it will be fine. So it's just with golden Freddy right here. Okay, that is a hilarious bug. Anyways, with golden Freddy, you could also give him the Funko mask. Again, same with all these other golden animatronics. You can give them their Funko masks as well. And I think that's pretty much everything unique about the body groups here for golden Freddy. So let's actually dive into his skins, because golden Freddy actually has some extra skins. So basically we have this bright yellow version of golden Freddy, basically like a version of golden Freddy where he's not like super old and dirty, more of a bright, happy, colorful version of golden Freddy. Then we have skin 2, which is a bit more of a super saturated version of a golden Freddy right here. So these are the alternate skins for golden Freddy, and his teeth are super white right here. Jeez, that is crazy right there. And then obviously skin 3 is Shadow Freddy. So that's pretty much everything I have to say about golden Freddy. So let's move on to golden Bonnie. Again, I don't really have much to say about golden Bonnie. Again, you can switch out the shadeless eyes for the endoskeleton head. Let's see, the guitar is actually a gray guitar instead of it being red. Also, something with these golden animatronics is you can actually swap out the eye glow effect. So by default, you have the small eye glow effect, but you can swap them out for larger glow effects right here. So you can make the eye glow larger for all of these golden animatronics if you wanted their eyes to be a bit bigger. And I think that's pretty much everything I have to say about Bonnie. Again, you have the Funko mask where he has the top teeth, and I'm pretty sure that is it. But I do like how his guitar actually has some different textures, and I think gray is actually a perfect color for golden Bonnie right here. Anyways, we're now moving on to golden Chica. So just like regular Chica, she can hold the cupcake, and if you wanted to, you can swap the cupcake in both hands by using the toggle. Again, the regular cupcake is in her right hand, but if you switch it to the cupcake stage, it'll be in her left hand. And also you can just remove the golden cupcake as well. Like I said earlier, her bib now says "It's me," which I think that is beautiful. With her beak, this is actually something unique about golden Chica here, is that you can actually give her the top teeth for golden Chica, which this is something you can't do with regular Chica, which I thought was kind of interesting. So regular Chica, you can only remove the beak, but with golden Chica, there is a new toggle for the beak where you can give her the top teeth right here, kind of similar to the Chica action figure from Funko where she actually has the top teeth. So I thought that was interesting that that's something only golden Chica has and not regular Chica. So maybe regular Chica will get an update in the near future where she will actually have those top teeth. But if you wanted to, you can still give her the jump scare teeth. So right here we actually have the endo teeth in the back of her beak, and then we have the jump scare teeth in the front of her beak right there. So we can also still give her the jump scare teeth. Anyways, moving along, again, we have the eye glow effect, we have Mr. Golden Cupcake, we have the rings, and we also have the Indo head again, and that's pretty much everything I have to say about golden Chica. So the final golden animatronic we got is golden Foxy, and this is actually nice because golden Foxy still has his beautiful golden teeth, but again, he does also have his Funko version included. So if you wanted to give him just solid white teeth, which honestly I think that looks really good with golden Foxy, because obviously the golden teeth kind of blend in with the golden texture a little bit. So honestly, I think golden Foxy with all solid white teeth looks really good. But anyways, with golden Foxy, there really isn't anything I have to say about him other than him having the golden texture. So again, I really love seeing these custom animatronics included in the Gmod FNAF bundle pack. Obviously, I love that we're getting detailed versions of all the main animatronics from Five Nights at Freddy's, and also they have these unique body groups, but I really love seeing these alternate versions of the animatronics, and a great example of this is these golden animatronics right here. I think they are fantastic, but we're actually not done with these golden animatronics, and that is because they all have a shadow skin. So if we swap them from skin 0 to skin 1, they will turn into their shadow counterparts. So not only do we have golden versions of everybody, but we also have shadow versions of everybody. And if you're curious, yes, there are presets for the shadow animatronics in the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 section. We can actually go ahead and spawn these shadow animatronics from the shadow presets, and all it does is just make sure that whenever you spawn them in, they are automatically set to skin 1. So anyways, with skin 1 with the golden Bonnie, if we actually look at his guitar once again, you can see that it's actually golden this time. And also his bow tie, instead of it being black, it is actually golden, unlike Shadow Freddy over here with Golden Freddy, which we've seen Shadow Freddy a million times, so I'm not really going to go over him. But I will go ahead and say I do actually like the fact that Shadow Bonnie's bow tie right here is different from Shadow Freddy, that it's actually a golden texture to it instead of it being black, because that kind of makes Shadow Bonnie a bit more unique than Shadow Freddy. And again, he does have his beautiful golden guitar, which I think that looks incredible as well. And also with these shadow versions of the animatronics, their teeth will actually glow up in the dark. So next up we have is Shadow Chica. So if we select her to skin 1, we can see the shadow version of Chica right here, and also there is Shadow Cupcake included as well. So with Shadow Chica right here, as you can see, she's mainly purple. Her bib still says "it's me," but it's actually black instead of white, which I think Shadow Chica and Golden Chica are probably my favorite versions. Honestly, I don't give Chica a lot of love, but with these golden and shadow versions of the FNAF 1 animatronics, I think Chica here, Golden Chica and Shadow Chica, take the cake. I really love Shadow Chica. I love the actual alternate colors for her beak and her legs. I love how it's actually solid black. Actually, it's more of like a dark grayish color, which I really do like that. I think that fits in with Shadow Chica perfectly. Obviously, again, Mr. Cupcake over here did get some changes as well. I didn't really go over Golden Cupcake that much, because basically it's Mr. Cupcake, but instead of having the regular cupcake eyes, he just has the eye glow effect, and he's also yellow. Also, his little candle is actually yellow, and if we switch him to the Shadow Cupcake, his candle will actually be purple instead. And yes, Mr. Cupcake's teeth will also glow up in the dark whenever the shadow texture is applied, and same with Shadow Chica's teeth. Anyways, the final character we have right here is Shadow Foxy, and basically Shadow Foxy is purple, but instead of having the black gray pants that Foxy has here in the golden form, with the shadow form, he actually has the golden pants on, which is kind of similar to Bonnie's golden bow tie over here. And also you can see with Shadow Foxy, his teeth glow up in the dark, including the golden teeth right here. But again, if you wanted Foxy to just have solid white teeth, I recommend switching him to the Funko mask, which honestly with Shadow Foxy, I do think the solid white teeth look better, but it is still really cool to see the golden teeth being able to glow up in the dark like that. So that's pretty much it to the shadow and golden animatronics. And again, the golden animatronic presets are in the FNAF 1 section, but the shadow presets are in the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 section. And with those guys out of the way, we can now move on to the anniversary characters. But once again, I do want to go ahead and say I absolutely love these golden and shadow versions of the other FNAF 1 animatronics. So we're now moving on to the anniversary characters. Again, on one of FNAF's anniversaries, Scott released some behind the scenes images of making Five Nights at Freddy's 1, and we got to see these unique versions of the characters basically without their textures applied. So we get to see the simplified versions of the FNAF 1 animatronics. So first of all, we have is the anniversary of the endoskeleton. As you can see, in comparison to the regular endoskeleton, it's mainly just the textures. He's just got super simple basic textures right here. The only thing unique about this guy right here is in the bodyguard, so we can actually select these eyes anniversary where his eyes are solid gray. But other than that, you can go ahead and switch between all the different eyes for the animatronics. You can toggle the eyelids, and you can also switch up the arm rings. But that's pretty much everything to the anniversary endo. We next up have is anniversary Freddy, which this is basically again the anniversary endo, but with Freddy's mask applied on top. And we're actually going to talk about this guy a little later on. But with the bodyguards right here, we can actually give this guy the microphone. We can go ahead and actually switch out the endoskeleton head for the beta head. So if we actually remove Freddy's mask right here, we can actually see the beta endoskeleton head where it was a super thick jaw with super sharp teeth. So you can swap between those two right here on this endoskeleton. And we also have the different eyes, the eyelids. We can give him his bow tie, and that's pretty much it for the anniversary version of Freddy. So we're now moving on to anniversary Bonnie, and Bonnie looks the exact exact same as regular Bonnie, but basically it's Bonnie without his textures being applied, so it's a simplified version of Bonnie right here. But the unique thing about this guy right here is we can actually switch him to skin 1, where we actually get to see the return of the black bow tie, and that's the origin of Bonnie's black bow tie. That is what we were talking about earlier. Again, the reason why we have a black bow tie over here with FNAF 1 Bonnie is basically if we got to see Anniversary Bonnie with the black bow tie with the actual proper Five Nights at Freddy's 1 textures applied. So that's why FNAF 1 Bonnie over here has a black bow tie, because it's a reference to Anniversary Bonnie over here. And just like FNAF 1 Bonnie, Anniversary Bonnie actually has some different presets as well. So we have this alternate version of Anniversary Bonnie where the eyes are missing, and then we have this other version which is again similar to the beta Bonnie we saw earlier, where it is Bonnie with the black bow tie but without the mask. And again, we also have the proper textures applied to this guy. So again, it's super interesting to see these animatronics without their textures being properly applied. So it is super cool to see these characters included. But again, other than that, all the body groups are the exact same as Bonnie, but it doesn't look like we can actually give him his guitar. So that's pretty much everything about Anniversary Bonnie right here. So we're now going to be moving on to Anniversary Chica, and Anniversary Chica is basically super similar to Anniversary Bonnie, where her textures are super simplified, where her textures actually haven't been applied, except for the Let's Eat bib, which I believe the Let's Eat bib is the same texture, but it's just a brighter version of the bib on the Anniversary Chica over here. But we also have the anniversary version of Mr. Cupcake, and in the anniversary image we can actually see Mr. Cupcake doing a little wink. So when you spawn in this anniversary of Chica, Mr. Cupcake will be winking. And can we actually swap the cupcake? No, I don't think we can actually swap the cupcake on this version of Chica, but we can toggle it on and off. And besides that, I think that's mainly the unique thing about Anniversary Chica here is Mr. Cupcake, and that's it. We can swap her to skin 1, but for some reason that has missing textures for me, so we're not gonna worry about that skin. And the final anniversary character we have right here is a Foxy. So this is basically Foxy only when his torso and his head were actually modeled, and we can actually see this is what Foxy's torso looks like without it having the withered effect on it. And also in the anniversary photo, Foxy does not have a hook yet, so he only has 2 hands, and he's given up some beautiful thumbs up. Yar, keep going, you got it, Scott, you can make me a beautiful model, and I know you won't make me out of order because everybody loves me, yar, right? You ain't gonna put me out of order. So this is Anniversary Foxy right here, and with the body groups you can go ahead and remove the different parts of his suit, and you can remove the eye patch, switch up the eyes, remove the eyelids, the torso, and you can also toggle the different ring effects, which honestly I don't think that's something I went in detail with Foxy over here. FNAF 1 Foxy is that originally with this pack, Foxy did not have the ring arm effects, but in this newest update it actually gives him the ring arm effects. So you can actually see the rings inside of Foxy, and I believe his rings are actually smaller in comparison to the other FNAF 1 animatronics, since his arms are actually skinnier than the rest of the FNAF 1 gang. But again, you can swap up his rings to actually have the solid rings, the fixed rings, and then no rings as well. So that's something I didn't really go into detail, but that is something that Foxy now has in this pack. So with all the anniversary characters out of the way, we have Beta Freddy. So like I showed off with Beta Bonnie earlier, Beta Bonnie was basically just some presets of FNAF 1 Bonnie, but Beta Freddy over here is a completely unique model. So the reason why I was saying, hey, we'll talk about Anniversary Freddy later, is because if you look very closely at Anniversary Freddy, you may not notice it at first, but there's actually something different about Anniversary Freddy's head model in comparison to Freddy from Five Nights at Freddy's 1. That's right, Freddy Fazbear's mask was originally not going to look like this. Freddy was originally going to look like this Freddy. And again, at first glance, you might not notice anything, but if we have a little side-by-side comparison, let's actually remove those Funko teeth right there. If we have a side-by-side comparison, you'll actually be able to see what is different right here with Beta Freddy. So with Beta Freddy, it's mainly the cheeks that are different. Also, you can see that the jaw is actually a bit more closed, but you can easily change that with the advanced bone tool. But it's mainly the cheeks on the side of Freddy's mask, and with the beta version of Freddy, his cheeks were actually stretched out a bit farther away from his mask, unlike the Freddy we have in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, where his cheeks only slightly go away from his mask, but not super far out in comparison comparison to Beta Freddy right here. And also something else that Beta Freddy is lacking is the freckles on the mask. And again, the origins of this Beta Freddy right here is from the anniversary version of Freddy over here. So basically what they have done is they've taken the anniversary version of Freddy's mask and plopped it on FNAF 1 Freddy's body. So this is what Beta Freddy would have looked like. So this is what Freddy Fazbear could have looked like in Five Nights at Freddy's 1. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, I'm glad we got this version of Freddy over this guy. This guy, it's kind of cool to see some FNAF history in the works, but again, I do love the final version of Freddy that we have. And speaking of this guy being the beta version of Freddy, you might have noticed it, but this guy automatically has the beta endoskeleton textures applied to him. But if you wanted him to have the regular FNAF 1 endoskeleton textures, like all the regular FNAF 1 animatronics, you can switch him to skin 1 to actually get the regular endoskeleton, but by default, he will have the beta endoskeleton textures applied. So I think that is a cool effect with Beta Freddy right here. Anyways, there is one more important thing to go over with Beta Freddy right here, and if we actually remove the mask, we can actually see the beta endoskeleton head. So originally in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, this is what Endo 1's head was originally going to look like. It was going to have these super big sharp teeth, and it would also have a little animatronic nose, which I'd say that's a nose. It's kind of like nostrils implied in the animatronic head right there. And it would also be a grayish texture to it instead of the blackened version of the endoskeleton we have nowadays. And again, that's what this beta endoskeleton texture is applied to Endo 1. So this is basically Endo 1 with the beta endoskeleton textures, but over here, this is beta Endo with those proper textures right here. And we also have the beta eyes, which we mainly see this beta endoskeleton have, which is the eyes of beta right here. So this is the origins of the endoskeleton right here. And this guy is super creepy. So this guy never really got to see the light of day. We only get to see him in like one image whenever Five Nights at Freddy's first came out, but other than that, beta Endo has been lost to history. But we can actually see this endoskeleton be applied on this beta version of Freddy, because this is basically, you know, beta. It makes sense. Beta Endo with beta Freddy, it all makes sense. Again, I do really love that detail. That's something I never really noticed until this pack. I'm gonna be completely honest, is that the anniversary version of Freddy's mask is actually different from the regular version of Freddy we see in Five Nights at Freddy's 1. So that's something I did not know about until this update to the Gmod FNAF bundle pack came out. So hey, we're learning FNAF history even to this day, which you guys, some of you guys probably knew that, but I didn't know that. So that's really fun for me to find out from this pack. But other than that, that's pretty much everything to beta Freddy right here in the pack. So again, I gotta say, I love the attention to detail right there with the beta versions of the animatronics. So with that out of the way, that is all of the main ragdolls done, but we do actually have the plushies, which we've gone over the plushies before, but these guys all have brand new textures. So we have Freddy, which we can switch his skin to Golden Freddy, Fredbear, and Shadow Freddy. Bonnie, we can switch him to Spring Bonnie. Chica doesn't have a skin, but Foxy has the Mangle skin from Five Nights at Freddy's 4, and that's everything to the plushies. So again, these guys basically just got some brand new textures, just like all these FNAF 1 ragdolls in the overhaul update to the FNAF 1 pack. So I just had to quickly show off those brand new textures. Anyways, we have Mr. Cupcake as his own separate entity right here. So instead of Mr. Cupcake being connected to Chica, we can spawn in Mr. Cupcake by himself. And the cool thing with Mr. Cupcake right here is he's actually not just a prop, he is a ragdoll, where if you move him around, the top of his cupcake is actually separated from the bottom part of his cupcake. And if you actually open up his mouth, you can actually see that Mr. Cupcake does have a golden tooth. That's something a lot of people don't know about Mr. Cupcake, is that he actually has a golden tooth on his bottom row of teeth. But normally you can only see the top two teeth that stick out of the cupcake, but Mr. Cupcake does actually have 4 teeth in total, and he does have 1 golden tooth. So here is Mr. Cupcake, and as you can see, the plate is attached to him. But if we go over to the body groups for him, well, he actually doesn't have any body groups. But if we actually go over to the skins for Mr. Cupcake, we can actually switch him to the Golden Cupcake and the Shadow Cupcake that we saw from Golden and Shadow Chica. And again, with these guys, you can actually have their mouths open and close. But if you don't want their mouths to open up and close, you can easily just weld both parts of the cupcake together. But honestly, I like this version of Cupcake where he is actually able to easily open and close his mouth. We also have the Anniversary Cupcake as his own separate one, because this version of Cupcake is winking. So here is the Anniversary version of Mr. Cupcake. So again, he's his own little separate guy, and he can also move his mouth open and closed. And also, an interesting thing here with Anniversary Cupcake is that the golden tooth is on the opposite side of the regular cupcake. So that's an interesting detail right there. It's like these guys guys got kind of mirrored. And again, another unique thing about Shadow Cupcake is that his teeth will glow up in the dark again, and we do get to see that golden tooth be in the shadow effect, just like we saw with Shadow Foxy. So I really do love that for Mr. Cupcake. Anyways, there is one more thing that's been added to the FNAF 1 section, and that is a new parts and services head, and this is a new version of the Freddy head. Before we had the Bonnie head and the Chica head, and this was the old Freddy head based off of an old Freddy model, but we actually have a new Freddy head right here, which is based off of in Five Nights at Freddy's. So this is the Freddy head on one of the shelves in the parts and services room, and this head is super cursed. I mean, this is something that does exist in Five Nights at Freddy's 1. It's an alternate version of Freddy's head. I was talking about how I thought the beta Freddy head was kind of cursed, but nah, this version of Freddy's head is super cursed. Instead of the cheeks being stretched out, the cheeks barely even exist, and this guy's got a huge noggin. So this is Freddy without his freckles, his eyebrows. He doesn't even have any ear slots. I mean, actually, no, he does have ear slots, but he doesn't have any ears attached to him, and he's got this super thick jaw right here. So this is one of the Freddy heads that would be on the shelves in the parts and services room, and this guy is super cursed. This guy is so cursed. Imagine seeing, you know, I was like, man, it's kind of cool to see this guy have a proper body. Imagine seeing this mask. Hold on, I think we can actually cook up something really quickly. If we take off the jaw, disable collisions really quickly, this is kind of like a sneak peek of what this guy could kind of look like. Okay, the head itself is kind of big, but this is what it would kind of look like right here. Oh my god, no, Freddy Fazbear, what happened to you, Freddy? What happened, Freddy? What is this version? No, this version of Freddy is cursed, bro. No. I'm so glad we didn't get this version of Freddy in Five Nights at Freddy's 1. This guy is cursed. But yeah, this guy is new to the pack, and again, the jaw is movable, and that's pretty much it to him. If you wanted to, you can remove the head, remove the jaw, and remove the eyes. So that is everything new to the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 section in the Gmod FNAF bundle pack. We are now going to be moving on to FNAF 2, FNAF 3, and Ultimate Custom Night, because these three sections have received some tiny updates. So first of all, with Five Nights at Freddy's 2 and Five Nights at Freddy's 3, we have some brand new sprites added to these sections. So these are the sprites from the mini games. So for Five Nights at Freddy's 2, we got Pink Guy, Crying Child, Dead Child, Cake Bear, Go Foxy, and Purple Guy's car. For Five Nights at Freddy's 3, we have Freddy, Bonnie, Foxy, Shadow Freddy, and White Rabbit. So these are from the post of Five Nights at Freddy's 3 minigames, and the White Rabbit sprite is actually a custom sprite, which is basically just a white version of the Bonnie sprite. Also, something to notice is that the Chica sprite is currently not in this pack. I'm assuming Chica will probably come out later on, but currently Chica is missing from the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 sprites. But these are all the new sprites added for FNAF 2 and FNAF 3, and you might be thinking at a first glance, oh, these are just some props. Nope, these guys are actual ragdolls. This is insane. So we got these sprites as actual ragdolls in this pack. So if you pick them up, they will actually move around, and all these guys are beautiful. Also, something to keep in mind with all these sprites is that they have two different skins. They don't have any body groups, but they do have skins. By default, these will be set to skin 0, where all of their textures are super simplified, and these guys will actually glow up in the dark. So if we take them under here, you can see that this guy will actually glow up in the dark. But if we actually go ahead and swap him to skin 1, the glow effect will no longer be applied, and he will actually have proper shadows applied to this guy. So if you swap between skin 0 and skin 1, so again, skin 0 glows in the dark, skin 1 does not glow in the dark. So that is something to keep in mind. But again, all these guys do have some ragdoll features, which I really do love, which I don't think the Dead Child actually has ragdoll features, but everyone else does have ragdoll features for their arms and their legs. And all these guys are amazing, because we have seen FNAF sprites in Gary's mod before, but them actually having like ragdoll features is amazing. For Purple Guy's car, you can see that his wheels will actually slightly move. Over here for the FNAF 3 sprites, it's their arms and their legs, and also their bodies as well that will move, which includes their heads. Oh, these guys, oh, this is amazing, seeing them actually be able to move instead of just staying in a 2D sprite form. Them actually like popping out into like 3D. Like, imagine like one of these guys just pops out and just walks around. He's like, hey, how's it going? What, am I tripping or something? And also for these FNAF 3 sprites, again, they do have the skins. Skin 0 glows in the dark. Skin 1 is where they actually have shadows get applied to these guys. So that is it for all the sprites. Again, super super nice and simple, and I hope we get more sprite characters in the future because there's a ton of different sprites out there from Five Nights at Freddy's. But anyways, with the FNAF 3 section, we actually got some updated textures for these 3 Springtrap characters, just like the FNAF 1 characters, where these guys got some new textures applied to them. The FNAF 3 Springtraps have gotten some new textures, so this is Springtrap's new textures, and in comparison to my last video where I showed off Springtrap when he first came out, I gotta say I love these new textures a whole lot more. So again, Springtrap, Purple Trap, and Springless Bonnie all have a brand new updated textures, and again, I love these new textures so much better. And we also have a new character prop. Since we had Mr. Cupcake included in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, we actually have the Phantom Cupcake as its own character prop in Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Phantom Cupcake! So just like the FNAF 1 Cupcake, this guy will actually move his mouth, but something that the Phantom Cupcake is lacking in comparison to the FNAF 1 Cupcake is that this guy does not come with a plate, so that is something to keep in mind. But it is super nice that Phantom Cupcake can be spawned in on his own. There is also one more thing I want to mention before I move on to Ultimate Custom Night, and that is because I made a little oopsie in my last review video. So while I was going over some of the props, I mentioned that, hey, there is a new vent included in the FNAF 3 section, and I showed off this vent, but no, it's actually this vent that is brand new because this vent shares the same texture as the new shelves that were added to the FNAF 3 section. So we have a new alternate version of the vent, and again, this is something that was out in my last review video, but I accidentally showed off the wrong vent, so my bad on that. So this is the new proper vent prop. I'm sorry I clicked on the wrong vent. There's 4 different vents in the FNAF 3 section, and there's more vents in total in this pack. It can get a little chaotic, so it's kind of hard to keep up with some of this stuff. But anyways, another oopsie I had in my last video is Mr. Shadow Candy. So in the Five Nights at Candy section, there is the regular Shadow Candy, and then there is the remastered version of Shadow Candy, and as you guys can see right here for me, he is completely solid black. But if you actually go over to the Gary's Mod console and type in Matte Specular 1, this will actually update the model textures in the game. And with Matte Specular turned on, we can see Shadow Remastered Candy in all of his glory. Look at this guy. So now instead of him being solid black, he actually has this purple glowish outline effect applied to him. And again, you can only see this version of Remastered Shadow Candy whenever you have Matte Specular turned on. So here we go. This is a Shadow Remastered Candy in all of his glory. And again, this is something that was included in the pack originally. I just did not know about this feature right here with Matte Specular turned on, that we actually get this beautiful purple glow effect. And this guy looks amazing. I love this texture right here. Oh, this is beautiful for remastered Shadow Candy. So with those 2 little hiccups from my last video cleared up, let's now move on to Ultimate Custom Night. So again, since the FNAF 1 section got updated, obviously Fredbear has gotten some upgrades as well. So again, just like all the FNAF 1 ragdolls, this guy has some brand new textures, and he actually has a brand new skin included as well. So as you can see right here, you can individually remove all the different parts on Fredbear right here. You have the custom rings, and that's pretty much it to all the body groups right here. But if we actually go over to his skin, we can actually see that there's this new version of Fredbear in the skins, which is basically a Unnightmare version of Nightmare, which this is basically like a gray bear version of Fredbear. I don't really know what this guy's gonna be. What do you call Unnightmare? Because Nightmare from Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is called Nightmare, but an Unnightmare version of Nightmare is just nothing. So like, what is this? This is basically Nightmare in the regular Fredbear form instead of it being a Nightmare animatronic. So that's basically what this alternate skin of Fredbear is right here. We also have some extra skins where his hat and bow tie will glow up in the dark, kind of like how we get to see in Ultimate Custom Night for Fredbear. And we also have a version of that for the Unnightmare version of Nightmare, where the golden hat and bow tie will actually glow up in the dark right here. So I do love that effect for Fredbear. But that's pretty much everything I have to say about Fredbear right here from Ultimate Custom Night, because that is the main thing that's been updated with this guy, is that new skin, which again, I do love seeing these custom characters get some love. Anyways, we are now moving on to XOR. XOR is an alternate version of DD that only shows up in Ultimate Custom Night, which has also been given the name of Shadow DD, but I'll stick to XOR XOR because that's their official name. So XOR will show up sometimes in Ultimate Custom Night and go a little crazy. So this is XOR as her own ragdoll. So again, this is based off of Dee Dee from FNAF World, which we'll actually get onto the proper Dee Dee model later on. But we're actually checking out XOR now because again, XOR only shows up in Ultimate Custom Night. So it's a shadow version of Dee Dee, and there is no body groups at all for this character. But again, it is super nice seeing like some of these characters that rarely make an appearance, because again, that's the only time we see XOR is randomly whenever she'll show up in Ultimate Custom Night, or if you're doing 50-20 mode, XOR will be showing up a ton. So it's nice to see some characters like this get some love. And yes, the propeller does have its own separate ragdoll movements right here, so I do love that effect right there. Oh yeah, you can also spawn in XOR's hat as a character prop right here. So the propeller will actually not move with this prop, but you can actually spawn in the hat as its own separate prop. But anyways, the final character in the Ultimate Custom Night section that's gotten a update is Trophy Freddy. So originally Trophy Freddy had skin 0, skin 1, and skin 2, but Trophy Freddy has been given 2 new skins, and this is actually because of merchandise. So we have the golden Trophy Freddy, but then we actually have the gold Chrome Freddy from the U2s. If you guys did not know, a limited edition U2s of gold Chrome Freddy was available for 24 hours, and this is basically what he would look like if he was applied to Freddy in the original FNAF 1 form. So this is Freddy with the gold chrome textures, and as you can see, in comparison to the gold trophy that we get to see in Ultimate Custom Night to this new version of a gold chrome Freddy, again based off of the U2s, you can see that it is a brighter golden texture, which I really do love. And then the final skin right here is a ruby version of Freddy. Now I don't really know the origins of this one. I do believe it's a part of Funko merchandise, but this is basically a ruby version of Freddy right here. So again, instead of it being like bronze, silver, gold, this is actually it in ruby. And as you can see, in comparison to the actual trophy textures from Ultimate Custom Night, again, it is a brighter texture in comparison, but not as bright as the gold chrome Freddy U2's texture right there. So that is pretty much everything to the Ultimate Custom Night section. Also in the merch originals tab, we can actually see the presets for these characters, so you can go ahead and spawn in the gold chrome Freddy, and you can also spawn in the ruby Freddy right here just off of these 2 presets. And as you can see, the ruby Freddy is a part of the Funko creations, and the gold chrome Freddy is a part of the U2's creations. And actually, speaking of Funko, we are now going to be moving on to the Funko Fusion section. So recently Funko Fusion has come out with their demo, and inside of Funko Fusion is Five Nights at Freddy's. So Freddy Fazbear, Funko Pop Freddy, is actually a playable character. So if you guys don't know, Funko, they have made a brand new game based off of their Funko Pops from all these different franchises, where you get to play as individual characters and fight through different levels. Now, I haven't played Funko Fusion for myself, but the demo recently came out, and there's actually a Five Nights at Freddy section included, and Freddy Fazbear is a playable character. So again, I've not played Funko Fusion for myself, so I don't know a whole lot about it. If you guys do want me to play Funko Fusion, that's something I might play on my 4th channel, because again, it's not based around Five Nights at Freddy's, but Five Nights at Freddy's is included in the game in its own level. So again, if you guys do want me to check out Funko Fusion as its own game, let me know, and I might do that on my 4th channel. But anyways, we are here to check out the FNAF stuff from Funko Fusion. So we got Freddy Fazbear as a playable character. We also have Freddy's endoskeleton, which I believe throughout Funko Fusion, if your character gets damaged, the endoskeleton parts will start getting exposed on Freddy right here. So this is Freddy's endoskeleton completely exposed. And whenever I look at this endoskeleton right here, I can't help but think about the Freddle endoskeleton. I don't know why when I look at this thing, it just instantly makes me think of the Freddles endoskeletons from Five Nights at Freddy's 4. But anyways, this is basically Freddy based off of the pop figure, but this is the actual model from Funko Fusion. So you can see that this guy does actually have some ear effects, and it's basic. This is so cursed seeing a Funko Pop Freddy as an actual ragdoll in Gary's mod right here. Oh, this guy is so weird. So anyways, this guy does have a body group where you can remove his hat. The endoskeleton does not have a body group, but we do have some individual character props. We have Freddy's hat as its own. We have Mr. Cupcake, which is based off of the Funko Pop of Mr. Cupcake, but as you can see, he's actually missing his flame on his candle, so that's an interesting detail. We have a microphone right here, which looks like it's kind of like based off of Glamrock Freddy's microphone, but we do have a microphone that Freddy can wield. We have this pizza oven gun, which this is what Freddy normally will be holding in Funko Fusion as his weapon, and I do believe it works like a machine gun, so this thing will just be shooting out. I don't know if it shoots out pizzas or something. Oh, okay, well, there goes the trash bin. But I do think it does shoot out pizza, so these are the actual pizza props right here. So we do have some pizza from Freddy Fazbear's. We also have a pizza box that just has a nice little pizza symbol on it with the Funko crown included on it, and these don't have any body groups whatsoever. But again, I gotta say the most interesting thing here is this Freddy Fazbear pizza oven theme, because it's like an oven, but it has a Freddy Fazbear on it, because it has the top hat, the bow tie, the ears, the nose, the freckles, and you can also see it has some checkerboard stuff on it, kind of similar to the Five Nights at Freddy's tiles and the walls. It also does look like there is a little splatter on it, but since this is a Funko Fusion game, I'm just gonna say that's tomato sauce and definitely not blood. We're gonna go with that. So yeah, this is Freddy's gun. We also have a Rubik's Cube included as well, which this is very random. I don't know how this is a part of the Five Nights at Freddy section. Again, I haven't played Funko Fusion for myself, but there is a Rubik's Cube that is a part of the FNAF section, so that's interesting. And the final thing we have is this trash bin prop of Glamrock Freddy from Security Breach. And believe it or not, but this thing actually has a body group, and that is the lid. So there you go. So this was a super short section, but it is super cool to see a Funko Fusion Five Nights at Freddy stuff included in Gary's mod. So again, there's a bunch of different franchises in Funko Fusion, but a part of the Gmod FNAF bundle pack includes the Five Nights at Freddy section from Funko Fusion. So there you go. That's pretty much everything about Funko Fusion. All right, we are now moving on to our final section for today's review video, the FNAF World section. And this section has received a massive update and includes a ton of brand new ragdolls. So we have playable characters, NPCs, enemies, bosses, and we also have bites to check out. Now, with the adventure animatronics, I've actually checked out a few of these in one of my previous Gmod FNAF bundle pack review videos, but since we have all of them included now, I thought it'd be kind of nice to just go ahead and line everybody up, even the characters I've already checked out in a previous review video, and just show everybody off all at once. So we're going to start from the right and make our way through all of these characters. Now, most of these characters don't really have that many body groups or skins, so we're going to be trying to go through this pretty quickly. So first of all, we have is Indo 1. Indo 1, you can toggle the eyelids on and off. We have Freddy Fazbear. With Freddy, you can remove his hat and bow tie. You can toggle the eyelids, remove his eyebrows, remove his eyes, remove his microphone, give him a bubble, which we'll get onto later. We can also give him the eye glow effect in his center eyes, and we also have the endoskeleton jaw that we can toggle inside of his mouth. We also have some skins for Freddy. So skin 0 is default. Skin 1 is actually a version of Blacklight Freddy. Skin 2 is another version of Blacklight Freddy. Instead of the center being green, it is now yellow. And then we have another version of Blacklight Freddy where he is pink. So a lot of these FNAF World characters do have some Blacklight skins. So next up we actually have is another version of Freddy. This is the Overworld Freddy. This is whenever you're playing as Freddy walking around before you encounter any enemies or something. This is Freddy walking around in the overworld. And this guy is actually different from Freddy we see in battles, because this guy is lacking the eyebrows and his microphone. And he actually has a less body group, so you can remove the accessories, his eyelids, his eyes, his eye glow, and the endo jaw. So there you go. You have this overworld version of Freddy as his own separate ragdoll. Next up we have is Bonnie the Bunny. The Bonnie in FNAF World is a pretty dark blue right here. But with Bonnie, you can remove the eyelids, the accessories, which is his bow tie, his eyes, his eye. You can give him the eye glow effect, which that's just creepy right there. You can also give him the guitar, but unlike the regular FNAF 1 Bonnie ragdoll, the guitar will not spawn like right on his stomach. It'll actually spawn off to the side. So if you want to adjust his guitar, you will actually have to manually adjust it, because for now it's just set off to the side. But anyways, with Bonnie right here, we got a few skins. We got skin 0, which is default, skin 1, which is his Blacklight skin, and then we have skin 2, which is accurate textures to the original Bonnie from Five Nights at Freddy. So as you can see in comparison, this actually makes Bonnie a bit more purple and actually makes it look very similar to his original version from Five Nights at Freddy's Freddy's 1. Next that we have is Chica the Chicken. Just like Bonnie, she can actually go ahead and equip her instrument, which is Mr. Cupcake, and Mr. Cupcake will spawn on the back of her hand right here. So you can give Chica Mr. Cupcake and it'll be on the back of her hand. So if you want to actually have Chica hold Mr. Cupcake, you will have to manually adjust him. We can toggle her eyes, the eye glow effect, and also the eyelids. For her skin, we can switch her from skin 0 to skin 1, which is her blacklight skin. And yes, the blacklight skin will also be applied for Mr. Cupcake right here. Next in line we have is Foxy, and there's actually two versions of Foxy in this pack. There's the regular Foxy and also a fixed version of Foxy where he doesn't have the withered effect on his legs and his hand. So with Foxy right here, for the body groups, you can remove his eyes and give him the eye glow effect. For the skins, we have skin 1, which is a blacklight skin. Skin 2 is another blacklight skin. Skin 3 is another blacklight skin. Skin 4 is like a solid white version of Foxy, and then skin 5 is kind of similar to Bonnie's skin, where it's an alternate version of Foxy's textures that actually make him more accurate to his version from Five Nights at Freddy's 1. You can also see that he loses the actual rings around his eyes from the texture, and again, this is to make it more accurate to Foxy from Five Nights at Freddy's 1, and also his eye switches from that orange to a more yellow color, again, just like we see Foxy in Five Nights at Freddy's 1. So that final texture is an accurate version of Foxy's textures in comparison to FNAF 1. Anyways, with Fixed Foxy, he has the exact same skins, but obviously again it's applied with this new version of Foxy where he actually has his animatronic suit legs equipped. And for the body groups, all you can do is toggle the eyes on and off, and all the time he will have the eye glow effect applied. Next up we have is Golden Freddy. Golden Freddy, you can remove the eyelids and toggle on and off the microphone. We have a blacklight skin for Golden Freddy, which makes him a super bright yellow with a alternate color of purple. Next up we have is Fredbear. With Fredbear, we can remove his hat and bow tie, remove the eyelids, we can give him the eye glow effect. We can actually switch out his eyes for black eyes and also glitch eyes right here, which we will come back to this later. And the final thing we can do is toggle on and off his microphone. Next up we have is Spring Bonnie. For Spring Bonnie, we can remove the bow tie, toggle the eyelids on and off, the eye glow effect, and also the eyes. That is not disturbing whatsoever. Seeing the FNAF World adventure animatronics with that creepy eye glow effect is just, I don't know, it's just a little disturbing because I'm so used to seeing these guys all nice and cute and cuddly, and seeing them being kind of creepy is a little, ooh. Anyways, next that we have is Toy Freddy. So with Toy Freddy, you can remove his bow tie, remove his hat, his eyelids, his mask, which this actually switches his mask right here. So I guess in different parts of FNAF World, Toy Freddy has like a different version of his mask right here. So that's a fun fact right there. We have the eye glow effect for his eyes. We then actually have his different eyes right here. So we have the black eyes and then activated eyes. So this is similar to Five Nights at Freddy's 2, where whenever Toy Freddy's in your office and his eyes are completely black, they will actually have a shine effect. So you can alternate between the twos if you want Toy Freddy to have solid black eyes, or if you want his eyes to be able to reflect light off of them slightly. And we can also toggle his microphone on and off. But with Toy Freddy right here, we have a golden Toy Freddy skin, something we don't see in FNAF World, but I thought that was a nice little bonus skin right there because it's based off the hoax of Golden Toy Freddy. So we can give this guy a golden Toy Freddy skin. And then we also have a blacklight Toy Freddy skin right here. And again, the blacklight animatronics are something we don't see in FNAF World, but again, they're just kind of like fun little extras included in here, seeing like, hey, what it would look like if the FNAF World animatronics actually had the blacklight textures, which I do like. Anyways, next up we have is Toy Bonnie. For Toy Bonnie, remove the bow tie, toggle the eyelids on and off, the eye glow effect. We can switch his eyes from regular to the small eyes that Toy Bonnie has in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, give him the solid black eyes. We can also toggle this guy, which surprisingly, his guitar is actually properly equipped to his torso, unlike FNAF 1 Bonnie over here for FNAF World. So that's kind of interesting. Anyways, for the skin, we can give him a blacklight skin right here, which I believe is based off of the blacklight skin that Bonnie has over here. So it's purple and green. Next up we have is Toy Chica. For Toy Chica, just like regular Chica, you can give her the cupcake. And with Toy Chica, just like regular Chica, the cupcake is on the back of her hand. But anyways, with Toy Chica, remove the eyelids, the eyes, the eye glow effect, the jaw. We can also remove her beak. Yeah, that Adventure Toy Chica Chica without the beak is cursed. We can also switch her to skin 1, which is the blacklight version of Toy Chica. And again, we also have the blacklight cupcake making a return. We then have Funtime Foxy. Funtime Foxy comes with a tail and a hook, which I really like that about Funtime Foxy in FNAF World. Anyways, we can remove Funtime Foxy's bow tie, give her the eye glow effect, and also switch out her eyes. We also have a blacklight skin for her as well, which is basically a green version of Funtime Foxy right here. Next up we have is Mangle. So with Mangle, Mangle does not have any skins, but she does have some body groups. We can remove the bow tie. We can toggle the eye glow effect on her eyes. We can also swap out the eyes, so all of her eyes are solid black, or all of them have the regular Mangle eye glow effect, just like her missing eye does on her mask. And we can also give her the paddle. If you guys don't know, in the trailer for FNAF World, also in one of the teasers for FNAF World, Mangle right here would be holding a little paddle, so we can give her the paddle even though it never shows up in the actual game. Next up we have is Balloon Boy right here, and with Balloon Boy you can remove his hat, and you can also give him his balloon, because Balloon Boy is seen holding his balloon. But if you don't want him to hold the balloon all the time, you can toggle that on and off. Anyways, with Balloon Boy's skin, we have this first skin, which actually switches his nose from red to pale, and we have his final skin, which is the blacklight version of Balloon Boy. But I want to quickly back it up to skin 1 right here, and you might be wondering, why can you remove the red nose on Balloon Boy and give him a regular nose? Well, that's actually because if we go over to the Five Nights at Freddy's 6 section, we actually have a preset for Adventure Balloon Boy right here, which is this version of Balloon Boy, where Balloon Boy is missing his hat, and he no longer has the red nose. That is because in one of the FNAF 6 minigames, there's a bunch of small little balloon boys that reuse the model of Adventure Balloon Boy from FNAF World, and this is what he looks like in one of the FNAF 6 minigames whenever he's just running around. I believe it's with the Lemonade Clown and Fruit Punch Clown when you have to scare the children. The children models are basically these versions of Adventure Balloon Boy right here. And again, there's a preset of this guy in the Five Nights at Freddy's 6 section. So next up we have is JJ. JJ, all you can do is toggle on and off her hat. We have the puppet, which all you can do is switch the skin from the regular skin to the blacklight skin. We then have Indo 2. With Indo 2, we can toggle the eyelids on and off. With Withered Freddy right here, Withered Freddy actually has a few things. So first of all, the accessories, remove the hat and bow tie. With the eyes right here, just like the regular Withered Freddy ragdoll from FNAF 2, we can swap out the eyes, so we can give him solid black eyes, or only have one of his eyes be black and have them alternate right here. We can toggle on and off Withered Freddy's microphone. Now moving on to the skins of Withered Freddy, if we go to skin 1, we can actually see that there is an accurate texture version of Withered Freddy, just like Bonnie and Foxy. This basically makes Withered Freddy a lot more brighter, but in FNAF World, we see Withered Freddy with a more darkened color, and his final skin is a blacklight skin once again. Next that we have is Withered Bonnie. We can toggle off his bow tie, toggle on and off his eyelids, and we can also swap out his skin again for a blacklight skin. And the cool thing about Adventure Withered Bonnie's blacklight skin is that it switches his eyes from red to blue, so I really do like that effect right there. Anyways, next up we have is Withered Chica. There's 2 versions of Adventure Withered Chica in this pack, just like Withered Chica from FNAF 2. There's the regular version, and then there's a version of her where her arms are in a bit of a stiffy mode to show off that T-pose position that Withered Chica normally does. But with her, all she has is a blacklight skin, so this is what she looks like with the blacklight skin applied. We then have Withered Foxy. For Withered Foxy, he basically has all the different skins again, so we have the regular skin and all the different blacklight skins. Next up we have is Withered Golden Freddy, and Withered Golden Freddy actually is not in FNAF World, so this is a custom character right here. So Withered Golden Freddy is based off of the Withered Freddy model over here, but as you can see, he is basically yellow, he is missing his ear, and he also has the eye wire effect, same with the wires coming out of his ears, and he's missing his eyes, and that is the main differences between Withered Golden Freddy and Withered Freddy right here. But anyways, for his body groups, we can go ahead and remove his hat and bow tie and remove his microphone. We also have the blacklight skin for Withered Golden Freddy included as well. I wish there was an option to actually give this guy the eye glow effect, but sadly there is not yet. So next up we have is the 3 different paper pals, which I'm gonna go ahead and point this out now. These guys look kind of cursed from the back, only look at them from the front. But anyways, we have the 3 different paper pals. So with these guys, you can remove all of their individual parts on the paper pals until they are completely nothing. So you can do this with all 3 paper pals right here. But the interesting thing is that the Freddy and Bonnie paper pal actually have some alternate skins. So right off the bat, as you can see, this is what they normally look like in FNAF World, but we do have custom skins for them. Skin 1 actually switches them into their golden version, so it's like Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. And then we have skin 2, which actually turns them into their shadow versions, Shadow Freddy and Shadow Bonnie. I gotta say, the Shadow Bonnie paper pal looks really cool, so it's kind of cool to see these paper pals get some custom skins right here based off of the golden and shadow animatronics. So next up we actually have is the shadow animatronic. Speak of the devil. So we actually have a Shadow Freddy right here with Shadow Freddy. All you can do is toggle the eyelids and the microphone on him. And one interesting thing I want to point out, again, it's kind of like a little fun fact, like how we were talking about Beta Freddy earlier, is that Shadow Freddy right here is actually based off of FNAF 1 Freddy in FNAF World, unlike the original counterpart from FNAF 2. Obviously, we first see Shadow Freddy in FNAF 2, and he's based off of Withered Golden Freddy, which again, Withered Golden Freddy here is based off of Withered Freddy, just like how it is in FNAF 2. But in FNAF World, Shadow Freddy is actually based off of regular Freddy. You can mainly tell this by the noses. Withered Freddy has a small nose in comparison to FNAF 1 Freddy over here. So I've always thought that's been kind of interesting, is that Shadow Freddy is based off of Adventure FNAF 1 Freddy, whereas in the original games, Shadow Freddy is based off of FNAF 2 Withered Freddy. So I always thought that was interesting. And the same thing can be said about Phantom Freddy in FNAF World as well. So that's just a fun little fact right there, just in case you didn't know about that. Anyway, Shadow Freddy only has the ear wire effect, doesn't have a eye wire effect. And does Shadow Freddy even have any more withering on him? I don't think so. I think that's the only withering on Shadow Freddy right here is the ear wire. Yeah, that's the only withering on this guy right here. So that's kind of interesting right there. Anyways, we are now moving on to Shadow Bonnie, also known as RWQFSFASXC. Yes, what a lovely name for you. And with this guy, you can remove the bow tie and also the eyelids, even though you can't really see them anyways. We next up have is Springtrap, which honestly, Springtrap has always been one of the most interesting adventure animatronics. Obviously, the adventure animatronics are cute versions of the original Five Nights at Freddy's animatronics from FNAF 1 to FNAF 4. And obviously, Springtrap is a weird character to work with because he has a corpse inside of him. But obviously, Adventure Springtrap here lacks the corpse, but he also has less withering than the actual Springtrap from FNAF 3. As you can see, his ear right here that Springtrap is known for missing half of is completely intact, and also his feet are completely intact, whereas in FNAF 3 his endoskeleton feet are completely exposed. So I've always thought Adventure Springtrap is interesting, and also his eyes are completely different. His eyes look like regular FNAF animatronic eyes, but instead of them having like a green or a blue color to them, they are just gray. So I've always thought that's kind of been interesting with the Adventure Springtrap. But anyways, for his body groups, we can actually go ahead and toggle his pelvis right here, which we'll get back to in a second, and we can also remove his eyelids. So with the skins right here, skin 0 is regular Springtrap, skin 1 is Blacklight Springtrap, and then we actually have a Dark Springtrap skin right here. If you guys don't know who Dark Springtrap is, basically it is the version of Springtrap that shows up after FNAF 3, right after the fire, and we can see this in the sister location cutscene. So Dark Springtrap, there's a skin for him in the adventure form, and we can also toggle the pelvis off because in that little image of Dark Springtrap, he is missing his pelvis right there. So if you wanted a adventure version of Dark Springtrap, you can actually alternate the skin. So I thought that was pretty cool. Now we're moving on to the Phantom animatronic. So again, Phantom Freddy is like Shadow Freddy. The only withering he has is the ear wire effect. But with Phantom Freddy, toggle the eyelids and also the microphone. And with the Phantom animatronics, they don't have any blacklight skins because they're already pretty much skins of the original animatronics from FNAF 1 and FNAF 2. Phantom Chica, you can toggle on and off her eyelids. Phantom Foxy doesn't have any body groups. Phantom Mangle, you can remove her bow tie and give it back. Phantom Balloon Boy has nothing, and also Phantom Puppet has nothing as well. Again, I know the Phantoms are like the first characters you unlock in FNAF World after your main party, so they don't really get seen a lot, but I do actually like the Phantom textures in FNAF World, even if Phantom Chica does look like a watermelon, okay? Alright. And also an interesting thing too is that Phantom Chica doesn't have a Phantom Cupcake. We never get to see an adventure Phantom Cupcake in FNAF World. But anyways, we're now moving on to Purple Guy. I know, what a random character, but Purple Guy is a part of Update 2 from FNAF World when you unlock him as a playable character, and he's actually a 2D sprite, kind of similar to the other 2D sprites we were showing off earlier when we were going over FNAF 2 and FNAF 3. So we have this playable playable purple guy right here. And yes, he is a ragdoll, so his legs, his arms, and his head will move around. We have the body groups for him. So basically the body groups are kind of similar to the Paper Pals, where you can individually remove all the different parts of purple guy right here. So here is purple guy from FNAF World. We have the crying child, which the crying child doesn't have any skins or body groups. Honestly, I would like it if the crying child actually got a skin in the future, because if you guys remember in FNAF World, whenever crying child would use a move, or I believe it was like gift boxes or something, the crying child would actually like be a alive child for like a split second. Instead of being a dead crying child, he would actually have like human textures. His tears wouldn't be gray, they would be blue. I think he would have like a green shirt on or something. So it would be kind of cool if we got like a skin like that in the future. Next up we have is Nightmare Freddy, and with Nightmare Freddy's body groups, we can remove his hat and bow tie, remove the eyelids, and also remove his eyes. But something interesting is that there is also the Freddle included in this pack. But basically the Freddle from FNAF World is basically Nightmare Freddy, but just shrunken. And again, this guy also has the exact same body groups as Nightmare Freddy, because this basically is just a small adventure Nightmare Freddy. Next up we have is a Nightmare Bonnie, where you can remove the eyelids and also the eyes. We then have Nightmare Chica, which we can remove the eyes, and just like the other Chicas, we can give her her cupcake. And unlike the other Chicas, kind of similar to FNAF 1 Adventure Bonnie, is her Nightmare Cupcake will just float off to the side. So if you wanted it to be in her hand, you would have to manually attach it, but I believe Nightmare Chica normally has the Nightmare Cupcake on her shoulder. Next up we have is a Nightmare Foxy. With Nightmare Foxy, you can toggle the eyes on and off. Then we have Nightmare Fredbear and Nightmare, and these two are actually pretty interesting. So first of all, with Nightmare Fredbear, we can go over the body groups, so toggle the eyes, the eyelids, his buttons, and also his accessories, which is the hat and bow tie. But with Nightmare Fredbear right here, we can actually switch his skin into a Nightmare, but there's actually a proper Nightmare Ragdoll, and with the Nightmare Ragdoll, he has the exact same body groups, toggle the eyes, eyelids, buttons, and accessories. So you might be thinking, oh, it's probably just a preset from Nightmare Fredbear that this guy has already applied on skin 1. Well, with the skins, he has 2 skins here, which I think is a bug. But Nightmare is actually slightly different from Nightmare Fredbear in FNAF World, and if you look very closely, you can actually see what is different about them. It is their eyes. So with Nightmare Fredbear's eyes are actually the normal size, but Nightmare's eyes are actually smaller in comparison. But if you wanted Nightmare to have the big eyes, then you can just switch the skin on Adventure Nightmare Fredbear. So there is a fun little fact for you. Next up we have is Adventure Nightmare-ion. So with Adventure Nightmare-ion, Nightmare-ion here actually has another skin, which basically has a bit more of a faded look, kind of similar to the Puppet's texture from Help Wanted, and also Nightmare-ion's texture from Help Wanted, but I'd prefer the solid black texture that Nightmare-ion normally has in FNAF World. Anyways, we can toggle the head, the eyes, the body, the arms, the legs, and that's pretty much it to Nightmare-ion. For Nightmare Balloon Boy, oh, this guy is still cursed, even in his adventure. This is supposed to be cuter? Nah, Nightmare Balloon Boy is terrifying. So with Nightmare Balloon Boy, you can remove his hat and also his buttons, bro. Yo, instead of having the hatless Balloon Boy in FNAF 6, what if we had this guy act as all the children in FNAF 6 minigames? Oh yeah, no, that is a cursed child. Next up we have is a Plush Trap. So with Plush Trap right here, all you can do with the body groups is toggle the eyelids on and off, and he actually does have some tiny little wither into him, but not all that much. But we actually have the Endo Plush, a new Endo skeleton introduced in FNAF World, and basically this is like the Endo skeleton of a Plush Trap. But a fun fact is that Plush Trap from FNAF World doesn't use this Endo skeleton, so it's kind of weird. But we do have this Endo plush, and all you can do is toggle the eyelids on and off, and this Endo plush's theme is green. So next up we have is some more custom characters. We have the Jacko animatronics. Now obviously Jacko Bonnie and Jacko Chica are in FNAF World, but we do have a few custom characters here. So we'll actually start off with these two, and then we'll move over to Jacko Freddy. So Jacko Bonnie and Jacko Chica are exactly the same as their Nightmare counterparts, but they are Jacko-fied, so they're more orange and also have the glow-in-the-dark Jacko effect. So when it comes to the body groups for these two, all you can do for Jacko Bonnie is remove his bow tie, and for Jacko Chica, you can give her the pumpkin just like how you can give Nightmare Chica the Nightmare Cupcake. And also, you guys can see that my screen is becoming darker. A lot of people have been asking me in the comments why my game gets kind of darker when I look at certain models, and it's whenever you look at a glowing model, a model that will glow up in the dark, basically the game like lowers the brightness so that way it looks better on the eyes, but it can be kind of weird on flat grass right here, just in case if anybody's been wondering about that. And also really quickly, speaking about Jacko Bonnie, how you can toggle his bow tie on and off, I don't think we can do that with Nightmare Bonnie over here. No, we cannot. That's interesting right there. Anyways, that's pretty much it to Jacko Bonnie and Jacko Chica. So we have Jacko Freddy, which obviously Jacko Freddy never existed, even in the regular FNAF 4 Halloween. And also, obviously, in FNAF World, there's no such thing as Jacko Freddy. But this is basically if Nightmare Freddy had the Jacko Freddy textures to him. So basically, he'll just glow up in the dark. And again, all you can do with this guy is remove the hat and bow tie. And same with the Freddle. Again, the Freddle is just a smaller version of Jacko Freddy. So this is the Jacko Freddle right here. And we also have Jacko Foxy. Well, this isn't Jacko Foxy, this is actually Grim Foxy. So this is Adventure Grim Foxy if Grim Foxy was in FNAF World. So he is super similar to a Nightmare Foxy. The main differences with him is actually the ear and also his hook. Obviously you can see right here Nightmare Foxy has the normal hook, but with Grim Foxy over here, the unique thing about Grim Foxy is that he has a super long skinny hook. So that is the same thing with this adventure version of Grim Foxy. And also both of Grim Foxy's ears are exposed for the endoskeleton ears, whereas a Nightmare Foxy over here only has one ear that is actually a endoskeleton ear. So that's a fun fact with Mr. Grim Foxy right here. But again, just like the other Jacko animatronics, the bright orange parts of him will glow up in the dark. And when it comes to body groups, Grim Foxy here actually doesn't have any body groups. Next up we have is Anman Dude, and this guy doesn't have any body groups or any skins to him, but this guy will actually glow up in the dark. And this is, it's so cute, it's like a tiny little Scott Cawthon. Oh, hi there, Mr. Small Scott Cawthon. So this is the character Anman Dude, and we also have a boss version of Anman Dude, which is just basically a bigger version of him. So there is the character version. Whenever you unlock Anman Dude as a character, he actually shrinks down, but then we have the boss version from FNAF World. So there's two versions of Anman Dude. Again, it's mainly the sizes. The boss version is just way bigger than the actual character of Anman Dude. Anyways, next up we have is Virtual Freddy, which this is basically whenever the mimic ball, some characters have an ability which is the mimic ball, which can be thrown out, and basically the mimic ball will mimic any of your character's attacks, and this Virtual Freddy will show up and mimic your attack and repeat whatever attack you have previously just done, as long as the mimic ball is present. So it's basically this gridded version of Freddy. And I believe with this version right here, I believe it will, yes, it glows up in the dark right here. See, we can easily see it lighten up in the dark down here. So this guy will glow in the dark. And now my screen's super bright. Gosh dang it, Gary's Mod, why do you have to have like auto brightness on you? Why can't it just be consistent? I understand why it can't be consistent, because things would look weird, but still, just anyways, so yeah, this is basically just Adventure Freddy, but with a gridded green texture applied to him. Next up we have is the NPCs from FNAF World. So we got Mindo the Endo. This is basically just a tall endoskeleton with super long arms, and he's blue, and he's got a nice little antenna, and he's got some orange eyes right here. With Mindo, there is no body groups, but we have Lolbit, basically a recolored version of Funtime Foxy, and this is actually the first time we ever get to see Lolbit in Five Nights at Freddy's, because Lolbit was originally introduced in FNAF World and then returned in Sister Location. So this is the first time we ever got to see Lolbit, which is basically just an orange and purple version of Funtime Foxy, but with the body groups, you can remove the bow tie, toggle the eye glow effect, which you can't really see because of Lolbit's giant eye glow effect already, and you can remove the eyes. There you go, there's Lolbit with the tiny eye glow effect. That is, why is that so disturbing? What is that? See, that's, see, something cute, something terrifying. The slightest detail right there, and just the eyes shrinking is just, yeah, it can make things a lot creepier. Anyways, next up we have is Dee Dee. The only body group for Dee Dee is the fishing rod that she will hold, so you can toggle it on and off. Next up we have is Glitched Fredbear, or 8-Bit Fredbear. What is this guy's name? Basically, he is the clock Fredbear. So whenever you're talking to Fredbear in FNAF World, and if you wait a while before you click OK or continue, Fredbear will turn into this 8-bit glitch version where he's like, you gotta find the clocks, bro. Gotta get the clocks, make it 6 a.m., and then everything will come to an end. And also, whenever 8-Bit Fredbear shows up in FNAF World, he'll be glitching all over your screen. But anyways, he's actually a thick 8-bit model in comparison to the other 8-bit characters we've been going over, because all these other 8-bit characters have been pretty thin, but this guy actually has some depth to him. So actually, this guy is so funny to see in a proper 3D style, instead of him just only being able to see him from a certain angle. Anyways, with 8-Bit Fredbear, just like the other 8-bit characters in this pack, pack, you can toggle on and off all the individual parts on this guy. But the thing is, this guy actually has a goofy little skin. If you switch him from skin 0 to skin 1, oh, what is that? That's no, what? This is normal 8-bit Fredbear instead of him having the yellow eye glow effect. That is, oh, no, that's not normal. I mean, that is him being normal, but I don't like it. Go back to the creepy eyes. The creepy eyes actually don't look so bad after all. I don't know why seeing him with normal eyes just doesn't look right. That just ain't right. I don't know. I prefer this version of 8-bit Fredbear right here. Anyway, speaking of Fredbear, we have this guy right here, the Supreme Fredbear, and this guy is actually from FNAF World Simulator. As you guys might know, in the FNAF World section of the Gmod FNAF bundle pack, there is a lot of FNAF World Simulator characters. FNAF World Simulator is a FNAF World fan game, and Supreme Fredbear is actually from FNAF World Simulator. I know right off the bat, it looks like Fredbear from the glitch universe end from FNAF World. Whenever you have Fredbear and you go and meet Fredbear while you're playing as Fredbear, both Fredbears get all corrupted and they glitch out and then they explode and turn into that guy, which we'll get onto him in a second. But anyway, Supreme Fredbear right here is from FNAF World, so it's the same Fredbear being all glitched out and stuff. But interesting, this guy's actually his own ragdoll instead of it being a preset, like how we kind of saw with some of the Bonnie ragdolls from FNAF 1. Instead of it being a preset, that guy is actually not the same as this Fredbear with the glitched eye effect right here. As you can see, this guy with the glitched eye effect is going at a crazy rapid rate, while this guy over here, his eyes are actually changing at a slower rate, and also his mask is slightly different textures. If you look very closely at this Fredbear mask right here, you can see that the texture is kind of small and dotted, whereas this Fredbear over here is a bit more smudged and bigger with the different dots on his mask, like for the mask texture. So that's the best way I can describe it. We can actually go ahead and grab this guy and do a side-by-side comparison so you guys can easily see, because yeah, if you look very closely at the masks, you can see that they're different textures, and again, the different flash effect between both of them is going at an insane rate. So again, this is Supreme Fredbear from FNAF World Simulator, and this is the glitched universe in Fredbear from the actual FNAF World. And speaking of the universe end, basically right after you see this guy, Fredbear will explode and turn into this right here, which I believe in here it's actually named Leg Bear. So these are Fredbear's legs, and then that's it. It's just Fredbear's legs, no body groups or anything like that. It's just Fredbear's legs after he explodes, and the universe has come to an end, unfortunately. Anyways, going over this guy's body groups, all you can do is toggle the microphone on and off. So get that guy on out of here, because next up we have is Freddy Fazbear Anime Edition. Oh yeah, that's right, I got them big old anime eyes. Let's go on an anime adventure. Yippee! Alright, so this version of Freddy Fazbear right here is actually from Five Nights at Freddy's 57. Wait, there's 57 FNAF games. Yep, that's right. Freddy in space. Well, we actually don't get to see this version of Freddy in the game. This guy is only used for the cover art for Freddy in space. If you guys remember, in FNAF World, there is actually a mini game in Update 2 where you go in and play as Adventure Freddy in space, where it's Freddy in space, the first Freddy in space. Obviously, there's been other spin-off Five Nights at Freddy's games since FNAF World Update 2, which is actually Freddy in Space 2 and Freddy in Space 3, which is kind of crazy. So hey, maybe if FNAF World 2 ever exists, maybe we can get a Freddy in Space 4. Man, am I ever gonna escape space? Technically, we're all in space if you think about it. That hurts my 2 brain cells. Anyways, with this Freddy in Space version, it basically takes Freddy from Five Nights at Freddy's 1, and you can actually see that he uses the beta endoskeleton textures that we went over earlier while we were going over the FNAF 1 animatronics. So this guy actually uses that skin right there, but he actually has a bubble on his head so that way he can breathe in space. Wait, aren't I an animatronic though? Come on, Freddy, don't ruin the moment. And also another unique thing about Freddy in space from the Freddy on the cover art is that he has these big old anime eyes. It's just Freddy's eyes, but they are insanely large. And that's pretty much it to this guy. If you don't want him to have the bubble effect, you can remove it. So it's just Freddy with some big old anime eyes. But I really do love this guy. And again, kind of like how we mentioned earlier with Adventure Freddy right here, this guy will actually have a little bubble effect. So this is how we normally normally see Freddy in the minigame playing out, but again, FNAF 1 Freddy is used on the cover art for Freddy in space, but in the actual game you play as Adventure Freddy, and this guy has his own little bubble right here. And also on the cover art, there's also Mr. Cupcake featured on the cover art as well, so it's basically just Mr. Cupcake with a little bubble that is included in here as well. And again, if you want to toggle the bubble, you can toggle it on and off, and you can also switch the cupcake to the golden and shadow cupcake once again. And something kind of cool is that this version of the cupcake actually doesn't have the mouth that opens and closes, so if you wanted to spawn in a cupcake that actually doesn't have the mouth open and closes, more like a prop, you can spawn in this guy, and he also loses the plate as well. So if you just want like a cupcake prop, you can easily spawn this guy in and toggle the bubble effect off. But again, I think it is still kind of cool to see FNAF 57 Freddy in space right here, both in the original form and also in the adventure form. All right, we are now moving on to the new enemies included in FNAF World, and most of these are actually just recolors, so we'll be going over them pretty quickly. First of all, we got Red Bear, Tangle, and White Rabbit. These are the recolored characters that you can find in Pinwheel Circus. Obviously, these are retextured characters of Shadow Freddy, Shadow Bonnie, and Mangle. And these guys don't have any body groups except Red Bear, where you can toggle the microphone on and off. They also have the Phantom Eye texture applied to them, because again, that's what the Phantom Eyes look like. It's solid white eyes with a white ring around them in FNAF World. So they have the same Phantom Eye texture applied to them, except for White Rabbit, and also Tangle's endoskeleton head. Her endoskeleton head actually has a orange eye equipped. Anyways, next up we have is Captain Fan. This is actually a guy from FNAF World Simulator once again. I said this in one of my previous Gmod FNAF bundle pack review videos, but I have never fully properly played through all of FNAF World Simulator. I've played through the first part of it, but that was like a good few years ago, so it's been a long time since I actually played it. But this would actually be one of the enemies in FNAF World Simulator. It's basically the fan slapped on Indo 02, and there's no body groups for this guy. Anyways, next up we have is all these enemies we've seen before, but these are alternate colors, or I guess what would you call them, inverted versions of themselves. This is basically not the flip side, but the glitched area in FNAF World. Basically the inverted area of FNAF World. Whenever you walk into an object for a few seconds, you actually glitch out of the map. That way you can go and collect unique chips, but if you run into a fight, you will run into these inverted characters. And so they have been included in the pack, and basically it is the same characters, but they have alternate colors, and these guys don't have any body groups whatsoever. But these 6 characters right here are brand new to the Gmod FNAF bundle pack. And if you're wondering what these guys' names are, I could not tell you. In the game, they're just random letters and symbols and numbers, so they're completely random, but I like to call these the inverted versions of the enemies. And editor, if you go ahead and make the scene inverted right now, boom, they actually look like their original selves. So I think that is a cool effect with these inverted enemies. Next up we have are the 8-bit enemies from update 2. So we got Neon, Jangle, P-Goon. So these are the 3 enemies that you can fight before you reach Purple Geist in update 2 of FNAF World. And again, just like the other 8-bit characters we've checked out in today's video, they have ragdoll physics, and they also have alternate skins. Again, by default, these guys will glow up in the dark, but if you wanted to, you could go ahead and switch them to skin 1. That way shadows will be applied to these guys, and we rarely get to see these characters in update 2 because again, they're the enemies that show up right before the boss. But most of update 2 is spent playing all of the random mini games. I never personally got the chance to actually admire these guys' designs, and these guys are pretty cool. Again, they're 8-bit characters, but I think they deserve a lot more appreciation than they actually got in FNAF World Update 2. Next that we have is Pink Guy, which I believe this guy is from FNAF World Simulator. So it's basically just a pink version of Purple Guy that we checked out earlier, and I do believe he does have the same body groups as Purple Guy. Next up we have is Mr. Kitty Cat. Meow! So these are the Kitty Cat PNGs from the Foxy.exe minigame. Whenever you're playing as Bonnie in the Foxy.exe minigame, there will be these cats that'll slowly creep up on Bonnie, and you have to hide behind some glitched trees, I believe, in order to avoid these kitty cats. And in this pack, there's 2 different sizes. There is the small kitty cat, and then there is the big kitty cat. And also, just like the 8-bit characters, these guys will glow up in the dark, but if you don't want them to glow into the dark, you can switch them to skin 1. That way shadows will be applied. And again, there is 2 sizes. There is the small version and there is also the large version of this kitty cat character. Anyways, next up we have is Anman Dude. Once again, this is the boss version of Anman Dude. So this is the regular boss at the end of FNAF World. And again, we went over the character over here. So this is Anman Dude whenever you unlock him as a character. But again, we have the boss version of Anman Dude, which is a lot bigger and is actually around the same height as FNAF 1 Freddy in comparison right here. I believe he is slightly taller than Freddy. Yeah, they're about the same height right here. So here's a little side by side between the boss version of Anman Dude. So if you wanted Scott or Anman Dude to show up in FNAF 1, the boss version is definitely the way to go. But if you're messing around with like party characters with FNAF World, then the character Anman Dude would probably suit some things better. But again, it's kind of nice how there is 2 different sizes included. And again, makes sense because we see Anman Dude as 2 different sizes in FNAF World. So next up we have is, oh my gosh, yar har har, fiddly diddly do. What you doing down there, small fellow? Come play my .exe game. Yo, we have Foxy.exe. So speaking of the Foxy.exe game, in the background is a giant withered Foxy, and we can spawn in a giant withered Foxy ragdoll. So this is Foxy.exe, and yeah, it's pretty much just a giant version of withered Foxy. So he has all the same body groups and the same skins as withered Foxy from Five Nights at Freddy's 2, but again, it's just a giant version of withered Foxy. So here we go, Foxy.exe. Foxy's always watching. Yar, listen to me voice and you will find the key. The key is by pressing the like and subscribe button. What? You want the key, don't you? You have to press both of those buttons. All right, so next up we have is Soul Dozer. So this guy is the boss in the Foxy Fighters minigame in Update 2. And I believe this guy actually, his first appearance was actually from the Desolate Hope. If you guys don't know what the Desolate Hope is, it is one of the games Scott made before Five Nights at Freddy's. I believe it was the game he made right before Chipper's. I believe it was the Desolate Hope, then Chipper and Sons Lumber Co., and then Five Nights at Freddy's. And I believe Soul Dozer originally comes from the Desolate Hope. But anyways, as you guys know, throughout FNAF World, the enemies that show up from in FNAF World, most of them are originated from Chipper and Sons Lumber Co. So it's kind of cool to get another callback to one of Scott's previous games, the Desolate Hope, and that is where Soul Dozer shows up as the final boss in the Foxy Fighters minigames. So Soul Dozer here is covered in spikes. He's basically like a car. He's like a robot, but his body is like a car. And yes, his wheels will actually move around. So if we go ahead and unfreeze Soul Dozer here, he can actually go for a drive. Don't mind me, I'm just going for a drive. As long as no pesky animatronics fly at me in their little planes, everything will be fine. I'm just going for a drive. Yo, this guy looks so cool while he's just driving around. So yeah, you can drive this guy around as a little character. Yo, imagine if this guy made a cameo in 5 Laps at Freddy's. Freddy Fazbear and friends are just going for a race, and then this guy shows up right behind everyone. Yo, imagine if this was the guy. Instead of that wolf endoskeleton in 5 Laps at Freddy's, Soul Dozer shows up behind the animatronics and tries to run them over with his spiky wheels. Oh, that would be cool. Anyways, with Soul Dozer here, all you can do is switch up his skin, so this will actually deactivate him. So all the glow up effects, including his eyes, will be deactivated. And we also have skin 1, which I believe removes some of the shiny effect from those exact same spots that go dark. So there you go. That's pretty much everything to Soul Dozer. And the final boss we have is Purple Guys. Just like we were talking about earlier with the enemies that lead up to Purple Guys, we have the one and only Purple Geist himself right here. And we all know that this is the biggest, the baddest villain in FNAF World, and he definitely doesn't get squished by a giant rainbow. No, 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 no. That would never happen. So this is Purple Geist, and he doesn't have any body groups or skins, and also he doesn't have any ragdoll features. So this guy is basically just a prop. And if you're wondering if he glows up in the dark, yes, he does, but there is no alternate skin to make him not glow up in the dark. I will say it is kind of nice though how it's not mirrored on the back side of him, how you actually can like see his back. Instead of it just being like completely mirrored. So that is still a nice effect right there. So he's not completely 2D. I mean, he really is 2D, but he's got like 3 different layers to him. So it still makes him a bit more 3-dimensional, even though he's still a 2D character. Anyways, that is it for all of the bosses. So all that we have left is all of the different bites. So in FNAF World, every Lobit you run into has a unique selection of bites, and each bite has 3 different tiers. So these are the wasps. We have the 3 different med med packs, the 3 different Reapers, the 3 different UFOs, the 3 different block shields, but there is actually a 4th one because this 4th one right here, block 100, is from FNAF World Simulator. We got the 3 different tiers of bombs and also the 3 different tiers of the boss killers. So with the bees over here, they have body groups where you can remove the stinger on them, and also the eyelids. For the neon bee, you can toggle the eyelids on and off. For the main wasp over here, you can toggle the wings, so you can switch the wings out, or you can just completely remove the wings, and you can also give it its beautiful eyelids. For the med packs, it's pretty similar. You can give all of them their eyelids if you want to, so that way they can blink, but by default they do not have the eyelids equipped. And they also have some skins. The skins will basically stop the blinking effect, so if you don't like flashing lights, you can go ahead and turn that off. But personally, I like the flashing light effect. It gives them a bit more personality and makes them feel a bit more alive. But again, if you don't like that flashing effect, you can turn them off by switching them to skin 0. Next up, we have the 3 different tiers of the Reaper. Honestly, the final Reaper is my favorite. Most of these guys, most of my favorites are the final version, just based off their design. Not that they're stronger, but I really do like the 3rd tier of all these bites. But anyways, with the Reapers, these guys don't have any body groups. And also, interesting enough, the 2nd Reaper has a gray scythe, while the 1st and 3rd Reaper have a black scythe. So that's kind of interesting right there. Anyways, with the UFOs, with all these UFOs right here, you can go ahead and remove the turret effect. Well, actually, this removes the shiny effect in front of the turret, and you can also give these guys some beautiful eyelids. However, the 3rd UFO has a optional skin, which is similar to the med packs, where you can stop the blinking flash effect and turn it into a solid color if you do not like it. With the block shields, these don't have any body groups, but they do have skins, and the skins basically switch between the different block shields that we can see right here. So we have the bombs, and interesting enough, the 1st and 2nd bomb use the same model but just have different textures. So there are some different skins. We have skin 0 and then skin 1, so this is like the flashing effect that the bomb will do. And then we have the 2nd bomb, which is just skin 2, and we also have skin 3 that it can blink between. So these are the 2 first bombs, and then we have bomb number 3, which also does share some multiple skins. So these are like different versions of the bomb, and with skin 3 you can actually see the blinking effect, but individually you can choose between all the 3 different blinking effects that it goes by if you want it to be set in stone. So there's all the different bombs right there. We then have the boss drains right here, and they do have the blinking effect, but you cannot turn them off because these guys don't have any body groups or any skins. So that's pretty much everything to all of the bites. But we actually have the pearl right here as a prop. If you guys don't know, you can get this pearl after you collect it 10 times from Dee Dee's fishing minigame, and this thing will float above your party whenever you're in a battle, and I believe it will randomly shoot down the comet attack, which shoots down shooting stars every now and then. So that's pretty cool. And the final prop we got right here is the fan. Yes, if you guys did not know, the fan is in FNAF World. You unlock the fan whenever you unlock all of the characters in FNAF World, and this fan will be placed right in front of your party, and every now and then it will shoot some lasers to attack your enemies. And with the fan right here, all you can do is toggle the buttons on it on and off. And with that, that is everything important to show off with this update to the Gmod FNAF bundle pack. But don't go anywhere because we have a few extra tiny little things. So first of all, taking a step back over here to Foxy.exe and Souldozer, these are actually their smallest versions, believe it or not. Yes, there is bigger versions of Foxy.exe and Souldozer. So all I have done is spawn in the small version. So if we go over here to the bosses, we can see there's 3 different sizes of Souldozer and 2 sizes of Foxy.exe. So again, I spawned in the smallest versions right here. So with Souldozer medium right here, this is the medium size of Souldozer, and then we have the accurate size of Souldozer, which is ginormous right here. So this is actually the size of Souldozer whenever you are fighting him in Foxy.exe, or sorry, Foxy Fighters. I was thinking about Foxy.exe because I got to talk about him next. But anyways, this is the accurate size of Souldozer when you are fighting him in the Foxy Fighters minigame. So this is the accurate size, but if you wanted him shrunken down, you can use one of these alternate versions of Souldozer. And for Foxy.exe, again, this is the downscaled version of Foxy.exe. So if you want the accurate size of Foxy.exe, boom, this is him right here. This guy is a giant. Yard, where is Bonnie? I need him to listen to my voice so he can find the key. Yo, let's get Bonnie right here. Yo, how's it going, Bonnie? Yo, you ready to go into Foxy.exe? Look at the size comparison, bro. This guy's like about the, he's about the same size as his ear. That is crazy. Yar, listen to my voice and you will find the key. I want to go home. So again, I do love having that option there where you can have the accurate size, or if you want a downscaled version, you can spawn in one of those. Anyways, besides that, we actually have the character props right here. So with all the adventure animatronics, they all have their own individual character props, but I'll be honest, I was kind of lazy, so I didn't feel like spawning in all of these. Here's all the character props included in this pack, and I'll go over some mentionable highlights. So first of all, right off the bat, this is where you can actually get Cupcake from FNAF 57. You can get him from the character prop section right here, with the golden and shadow cupcakes. Also, speaking of the cupcakes, we can spawn in the different cupcakes individually. So we have the regular cupcake, the nightmare cupcake, and we also have Mr. Pumpkin. So earlier I was talking about Jacko Chica and also Nightmare Chica. Whenever you toggle their little friend, they'll just float next to their head. So if you want to spawn them in individually, then you can spawn in their character prop version. Besides that, we can spawn in the guitar for Bonnie. We have Foxy's hook. We also have Grim Foxy's hook separately. We have the different masks of the puppets. So we got Nightmare On, regular puppet, and Phantom Puppet's mask. Let's see, we have a bag right here. We have the paddle and paddle ball from Mangle, which you can spawn in as its own individual prop. We have all the bibs, the hats, the bow ties. That's what most of this stuff is. We even have the virtual hat, bow tie, and microphone in here too, which is kind of cool. We have some props from all the different enemies. So we have some axes, some scythes, even the nose from one of the snowmen. We have a wind-up gear. We have some orange slices. So yeah, there's a lot of different goodies in here. So again, these are all from characters we've already gone over, and you can spawn in all these individual props on their own. And also being able to spawn stuff in on their own, I want to go ahead and go over to the merch original section one more time, because this is where you can get all of the different blacklight animatronic presets right here, and also the character prop presets as well. So we have the blacklight cupcake here, and we have all of the blacklight animatronics I went over earlier. And again, these are all the presets for them, so that way you can go ahead and easily spawn them in without having to switch through all of the skins. And there you guys go. That is everything new to the Gmod FNAF bundle pack. So again, if you guys do want me to check out this pack again whenever it does get updated, make sure to leave a like on this video. That lets me know that you guys want to see more. And again, feel free to check out the Gmod FNAF bundle pack for yourself if you haven't already, unless your computer can't handle it, because that would make sense. There's a ton of stuff in this pack. Yeah, overall, I absolutely loved this update, mainly for the FNAF World and FNAF 1 additions to this pack. Also, all the new textures, including for Springtrap and Fredbear, were fantastic. So I'm super excited to see what the next update to the Gmod FNAF bundle pack is going to be. But since this update recently came out, it's probably going to be a good while before the next update. So I'm probably going to be taking a long break from this pack until the new update comes. Oh, fuck.